Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of the Aqua Experience. And I'm really excited this time because it's another fellow Aussie. Gday was the last one from Australia that we had, and there was a few early on. But also, this is probably one person that I speak to a lot outside of YouTube as well. So it's going to be fun. It's going to be a bit of a different perspective. If you guys have questions at any stage throughout this, please just chuck them in the chat. I will try and read all of your questions out. If it's for myself or if it's for Blake. If it's embarrassing and it's for myself, I probably won't read it out. But if it's embarrassing and it's for Blake, I'll definitely read it out. So let's do a little bit of a roll call. A few of you came early. Max S, thank you. Blake's Aquatics. Always good when your co-host or interviewee turns up. Lazarus the Fish Boy, how you doing, man? Shep's Aquatics, 3-hour stream. Did you... Down here, we have this crazy thing going on where our national sport, the AFL, is doing 20 days of games back to back to back to try and beat this virus. But I forgot that it was on tonight, and I'm like, I'll still get to see the second half. So we'll see. We'll see how long it goes for. 11 likes hasn't even started. Thank you to everyone that's hit the like button. KJ Cichlids, 2:30 a.m. Yes. It's not 2:30 here, so it kind of worked. But thanks for stopping in. Where are we? Benny's Aquatics, how you going? DWS Aqua, how are you? Just found your channel, Laz. Cool, that's awesome. Max is back. John Barton, hello. Hi all. Awesome to see you all. Thank you very much for joining us. So generally what we do with these Aquamate Experience videos is I invite a guest on and basically we like to try and drill back to where it all began. So where it all started, what inspired them not only to build fish rooms, but what inspired them to actually keep fish in the first place? How did it come about? And then what possessed, especially in this case, Blake, to start a YouTube channel. And maybe we'll delve into how he's doing so well with the YouTube channel as well, because I've watched him grow right from the start, and it's been a pleasure to watch, and it's been exciting to ride that journey with him. Some of the other guests that we've had in the past don't do YouTube channels. They run businesses. So always stay tuned. Next time we have another person on, it's always a different story, and there's always a few curveballs, and we learn a lot, and it's a great community. So without further ado, let's say hello to our guest, Blake.
Hello. Yeah.
How are you, man?
Yeah, good. No, going really well actually. So nice to see a few names I'm familiar with in the chat. So yeah, should be a good stream.
Yes. So Hanson, why are you doing really well actually? What happened in the last couple of days?
Isn't it obvious? I hit 2K. So yeah, it's a massive milestone for me. But yeah, I thought you meant like why did I hit 2K? How did I find 2,000 people who were put up with me spamming them with videos every single day? Yeah, I just thought it was my dashing good looks, but apparently maybe not.
I suppose it does help, doesn't it? All right, so you and I, we talk a fair bit. So like full disclosure to everyone, we're pretty chilled. This will be a pretty chilled stream. I'm going to have a beer while we have a chat. So just be like two Aussie mates having a chat.
Yeah, I'm going to pretend. I'm going to green screen in a beer later. I actually ran inside. We don't have any apparently, but anyway.
Oh, no. I'd send you some, but I'm not allowed out. It's under the house. All right, so
we do have a lot of good chats, you and I, Aquamate, that people might not even realize. Like often after my streams, I sneak you a bit of a link and we just have a bit of a chat for 3-4 hours sometimes. So
sometimes yeah. It goes. And a lot of that, it's also good because I love looking forward to your streams on Thursday night. So tomorrow night, say a little bit earlier than 7:30, isn't it? 7?
Yeah, 6:30 these days.
Yeah. I'm always cooking dinner when you do it. So I always like get in near the end and I'm like, I missed it. Send me a link.
Yeah, that's on purpose. Want to try and minimize the riffraff.
Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough. Those with responsibilities can just wait at the door. All right. So I will ask you a couple of questions that we've probably discussed before, but for the purpose of this video, where did it all begin for you? Because you haven't been keeping fish your whole life, have you?
Nah, I mean, we dabbled here and there. Like, there was maybe a goldfish in a bowl, and then when you inevitably that dies, you get like a budgie or something, and then when that passes away, you get a rabbit, and then you circle back to goldfish at some point and all that. So there's a lot of animal cruelty, not on purpose, but just sort of not educating ourselves. So we didn't have a heap of success with fish as a household growing up. So I didn't really get into it until a few years ago, maybe 3 years ago now, where I did it the whole opposite way around. So I don't know how, maybe I got recommended an aquarium co-op video or something like that just in my YouTube feed, because I've always been a massive consumer of YouTube videos. And yeah, I'm sure just randomly they sent me an aquarium co-op one. And yes, got me really interested in fish. And then we went to the pet store, my wife and I, and then we had a bit of an argument because I was like, nah, we need to get fish today. And then she was very sensible. She was like, well, you live in an apartment and we'll probably move a lot between now and, when you eventually finish, because I was at uni at the time. And it's like, we'll probably got a few moves and things. Like, you don't really want to get a fish tank. I was like, nah, I'm very much like I need to do it now sort of person. So we didn't agree, but we didn't end up getting a fish tank that day. And I just kept watching a lot of aquarium co-op stuff and King of DIY and all those sorts of obvious ones that people go to first for years, like 5 or 6 years. So when it came time to actually, I think we were just on the couch or something, and I looked over, I said to my wife, I was like, we're pretty stable here now, aren't we? And she's like, yeah. I said, I reckon we can get that fish tank now. And the very next day I got the fish tank, let it cycle and all that, and then we got some neon tetras to kick it off. So physically keeping fish for about 3 years, but I like to think that I've been in the fish sphere for 8 or 9. Yeah.
I'm trying to think what was it? Video game collecting. So about maybe 10 years ago, I lived the hobby of collecting retro video games through YouTube, just like you were just talking about with fish going, like I don't really have the room, don't really have the space to do this, and can't really find all this stuff. But I would watch so much YouTube videos about just reviewing old games and finding old games. I got right into it. I was obsessed with like American pickers and stuff. I'm like, how cool is it you can find all this old stuff? But I've always kept fish in between, and I kind of just threw that on the back burner, like almost literally, and just focus on the fish now. So neon tetras were the first. And sorry, how long ago was this when you were in the apartment? So it was like, you say
2011 when we had that argument. Yeah.
So you pretty much, your heart was set on, you're like, yeah, I know what I want to do.
Yeah, I knew from the get-go, like, it wasn't going to be a goldfish. It was going to be something. Well, I thought they were very unique. Like, I'd never seen a neon tetra before. Obviously, now they're dime a dozen. But at the time, I was like, who has ever seen this fish before? It is, glowing at me. Surely this is a rare, crazy fish that I need to keep. And that idea hasn't ever stopped. But yeah, the collectoritis was kicked in super quickly. Actually, I think the very next week I was like, we need another tank here because I need to get myself some platies. And no, it wasn't platies. Anyway, it was maybe like, we've got. So there's this calculator online that you can plug in all your fish and the size of your tank, and it will tell you the percentage stocking of your tank. And so I used to do that all day, every day, and I'd just be like, let's go with this 60-liter tank, and we'll put in 10 guppies and XYZ. And then every time I would like write down the combinations and then be like, nah, it's not going to work. Write down another combination. It's not going to work. And then I would take this game plan to my wife again and be like, we need a new tank. Here's why. I just can't get the math to work out. And that's how you end up with all this nonsense behind you.
And so now that you are a bit more experienced with fish, do you think that calculator is correct? Do you still like live by it, or do you kind of go, I totally could have done that? Or
well, now I've got the experience that I don't need necessarily the calculator, but I do think it's a really great tool for beginners. I think it's a bit pessimistic, if anything, which is a good thing, because you don't want them to tell you, yeah, you can have 200 guppies if you can only have 100 or whatever. So I think, it underplays how much you can actually keep, but I think that's important as well. So I don't know I don't know how we ought to remember it, but yeah, it's a really great website. Hopefully it comes to me in this stream, and I'll let you know what it is. But yeah, no, it was a great little website. And it did help me a lot, because it also had tips like if you put, Oscar and Neon Tetra, it would say, come up in big red letters. No, it's going to have aggression issues. Or I don't think it specifically said they go and get eaten, but it would just basically be like, that's a bad idea. So, yeah, I will try and find that while we're talking. And
that's
it was
cool.
a great one.
There was a question I saw a little bit earlier from Benny, I think, saying, how did you guys meet?
That's an interesting story as well, kind of.
I don't remember. It's through here.
Yeah. So the way that I sort of worked my way into meeting all the Oz Fish Tubers guys, I was a big fan of Rumble's Fish Room. And I used to watch him every single day, Patreon and all that. And then I just was randomly having questions about things, because he's a bit casual about when he discusses things. So occasionally I'd be like, so how specifically did you put that rack together or whatever? So we had a few interactions that way, and then I was making odd videos randomly, and he was kind of like, hey, if you're an Australian, you're making videos, come and join this Hangouts chat. And we all sort of help each other and stuff. I was like, I'm not an Oz Fish tuber, mate. I make a random video once a month or something. Like I'm not a YouTuber. And then who was it? Simply Better, I think at the time, said something about if you make daily videos for 30 days, YouTube likes you, something like that. So she was trying to grow. And I got that. I was like, that's a pretty good idea. Like a daily video, set yourself a goal and just do it. And then I did make daily videos for a month. And I said to Rumble, okay, I think maybe I'm a YouTuber now. So I'm happy to join that chat. And then the rest is history. Blackie shouted me out. We got 40 subscribers that day. I still remember. And I think that tripled my subscribers. So I was like 20 to 60 the afternoon Blackie shouted me out. And it's been a roller coaster ever since. Yeah,
it's cool. It's like, that's the thing about that group as well. Like, it doesn't matter if you put one video out a week or a month or even less. Or if you are like yourself now, who pretty much you have some content coming out daily, we all help each other and we all, have a few things to offer. So Aqua, AQ Advisor, is that what it is?
Yeah, so I found that website. I reckon I attributed about 50% of their web traffic early days. Like, honestly, all day, every day, that tab was open and I would just come up with ideas, go off and watch a video about a type of killifish or something, and then I'd just go and play around with combinations. And if you're a massive nerd like me, like I was born with Microsoft Excel downloaded onto a laptop in my hand, and I'm a big old nerd, so that sort of stuff is right up my alley. And then I would also even draw out fish rooms and just things I shouldn't admit. But yes, we actually physically met not long after that when you came in. Why did you come here early? I think maybe we just wanted to suss me out before we had the pet expo, maybe.
Yeah, I was just trying to think. Was it before or after the expo? But it was before, wasn't it?
It was the week before, yeah, which I thought was great because then I at least knew, like, you kind of get a vibe for people and stuff. So I thought that was a good idea to meet up before the expo, especially because we were setting up that booth and all that at that point, which we had no idea about. So I was glad for that. And then it's been pretty seamless ever since.
It was awesome. It was a lot of the Americans that we follow that we sit at home, we're on our own making videos, and then you see the collaborations people were doing, and then for me to learn that Blake was in Geelong, which it's not just up the road, but it's like 2.5 hours. Like that's doable, and see that we have very similar interests, and I suppose we both sort of take this YouTube thing pretty seriously and put a lot of effort into it. I call it a passion project. It's somewhere we can be creative and get away from any, the stresses, the hustle and the bustle.
Yeah.
And I think because I could tell we were on the same page. It was like, yeah, I'm going to go down there and I'm going to shoot a fish room tour. And that video, like, I don't have a lot of videos that get to 1,000 views, but it's slowly pushing its way there. And it's stuff people like to see as well. So I think we both got a fair bit out of that.
Yeah, definitely. And that is one thing I think, like, some people, and it's not a right or wrong thing either way, but some people kind of take you very casually and like, I'm here to hang out with my friends. But I think you and we have a lot of these good conversations because we're both like, nah, I want the next thing to be above and beyond the last thing, and I want it to continue that way. And I want the very next video to be better than the last. And I do take it very seriously, probably more seriously than I should, but I absolutely love it. I love every minute. I love exporting videos, knowing, like, oh, I'm pretty happy with how that came out, or next time I'm going to do this. And it's shown, I guess, because it started off with a daily video for 30 days. And I don't know exactly how much, but I've probably made like 200 days in a row of videos, except for one that I got accidentally deleted.
Oh, the live stream.
Yeah.
What a pain. I'll just quickly.
I reckon. Yeah,
you're right.
So
people came in. So just want to say hello to Alice. How are you? Kiwi Mamo. Glass Fish Tanks. I think I saw you there as well. Dan's Fish Room. How you doing? Punchy. Hello and good night. She's going to leave us playing while she goes to bed. I can imagine she's still awake, just going, yeah, I did. Ugly Man, how you doing? We need to catch up when all this is over. And Shep is back. Now, hang on. Shep, why, just before we continue, why is the Fish Room collaboration with Blake the video that doomed you? I'm curious.
Video doomed me. Maybe because that's what inspired him to make a video.
I was in to make a fish room. There you go.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Actually, he was saying something about that earlier. Craig Broderick, how are you as well?
We'll just say as well that I am reading all the chat too. I just don't want to interrupt every 5 minutes to say hey, but g'day everyone. Always appreciate seeing you, and I love you.
Total Tropicals TV. G'day, you're looking at these two. Now I know why they made wearing face masks mandatory in Victoria. How you going, lads? Doesn't look like we'll be collecting anytime soon. No, not anytime soon. And I saw Aquafunk sent you did a big shout out for you and your channel, and he had a lot of nice words to say about your channel. So congratulations. Now because I know I'm going to forget. When you said, let's get this first fish tank, and then you're doing all the math, and you're like, oh, I'm going to need more tanks. How did the better half go from, all right, yeah, go get a tank, to how many tanks do you have now?
Now I've got 40, I think. Yeah. But that's a whole different...
I need another tank.
No, so that's a pretty funny story, I guess. So I got approval for another tank because I needed the space. And, as you do, I'm on Gumtree. People know I'm a big fan of Gumtree. And I found a tank. except there was one problem. It was already full of fish and it was full of guppies. So I got it and I brought it home, but it still didn't solve my problem. So instantly I needed another tank to put the guppies into so that I could use this tank for the space that I needed originally. Genius idea. So I got a couple more tanks anyway, and there was a tank on the kitchen counter. There was one in all of the like bathrooms and en suites. So there was like 3 or 4. And then it just got to the point that they were all over the house and we needed to just concentrate them into a room. So we had a spare bedroom, which I just said one day, look, we're just kind of using it for storage. I'll go get some shelving and we'll sort it out. And I'll put all the tanks in there. And that was the first time I ever got like a fish room. And yeah, it got pretty crazy from there. Like it just filled up to the point where I took the cupboard doors off so that I could put fish tanks in the cupboard. And yeah, but it got also to the point where I had fish tanks all around the outside of the room, but that wasn't enough. And then I created an aisle up the middle of the room, and it was just wide enough that I could basically walk through. It was a real nightmare to try and like bucket out water because I was still doing bucket water changes at that point. And I thought it was a massive tank at the time, but it was a 4x2 by 2.5. I think it's about 500 liters or 125 gallons. And to try and do a weekly 50% on that with buckets, it just got too much. And that's when sort of the innovation came into the hobby, and I started to learn about like the Python water system, like the Python water change system, and how we don't really have that here in Australia. So I had to get creative, and I'm walking up and down aisles at Bunnings and things and found the little tap adapter and all this. And that kind of like took the hobby into a whole nother side of things as well. Like I was already interested in all the colors, varieties, breeding, plants, and all that stuff. And then it also engaged a new side of me, which was being creative and coming up with innovative solutions. And yeah, and then it kept going from there. So obviously now things are a lot different. I can build racks and I'm pretty confident like with plumbing stuff and everything else. So I wouldn't say like I'm a tradie or whatever, because I know they'll get really upset about that. But I just think it's good to kind of learn all these things and accrue a bunch of tools and just sort of generally get better at a lot of things. So yeah, I like that the hobby also teaches you a lot of life skills as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I was just thinking while you're talking then, and it's a real shame this place isn't around, but there was a place in Seville. It was just a guy's house, and you go up and you park in this front driveway. They had a big property, and then you just walk down this path, and then he just had like 3 big sheds, and then all these concrete ponds, and he just bred all these fish, and you just go there, and I'm like, I remember going, I want to do that when I'm older, and now I'm like, holy crap, that's the, the direction I'm headed, the direction you're headed. There's a few questions here as well. There's a statement, I suppose. It's when Shep started doing YouTube, when he watched that video, joining the chat. So you were correct. Total Tropicals TV. If you look up Aquafunk on Facebook, he did that today, and he did it on his YouTube channel as well. So definitely you have a fan there. Dan's Fish Room, our spare room, has been going through the exact same deal. It's a way to get the approval from the missus. Max can't wait till he can have as many as he does. So John wants to know, how do you do water changes now?
I do still have my examples down here.
And see you, lads. Thanks for joining us.
See you, lads. So to do water changes now, I've got 2 apparatuses here. These are the mini versions, just for streaming purposes.
He was prepared for that question. They're just sitting right next to him.
That's mainly because I don't clean up, and
He's got props.
I did talk about it on a stream before. So this one's probably the easiest. This one I used to fill up the tank. So I just hook on your normal garden hose, but then the other end of the garden hose goes into an indoor tap, one which has a mixer so you can set the temperature. Then you get a little tap converter thing that you can. I do have a video on all of this if a guru with a wrench can find it. So basically, I just hook it up to a tap inside. Normal garden hose goes to this, hangs on the edge of the tank so it's hands-free, and then you just turn this ball valve, water fills up, you can walk away. And while you do that, you get the other one here. This is connected to a larger diameter hose than a garden tap. I think I use like 25 mil vinyl tubing, something like that. And this one is to drain the water out. So I've got to do things backwards here. So this part here comes out, and this is how you set how much water you want to change out. So, I usually do it about 50%. I've got 2 or 3 of these because I've got different height tanks. And then you have this closed, you pull off this cap here, do the old, suck the water up, and you have a little bit more play. Like, it's not like with a normal siphon trying to suck it, because you hear the water filling up in here. So you just suck it until the water goes up to around about here somewhere.
Go straight in the mouth. Yeah.
Put the cap back on and then turn it on. And because there's water filled up in here, that's what starts your siphon. And then easy as that. So I literally just go, one in front of the other and just hook it onto each tank, and totally hands-free. Usually I put some podcast or live stream or something on and just sort of hang out. It's pretty good.
Yeah, it's a good way to do it. I have plumbing over here that I could hook all this sort of stuff up, but I still battle with the reality that I'm in a garage that is used for other reasons. So
yeah,
I've got to figure it out. Bloody Richmond! I almost tipped them.
Dan, yeah, you could easily adapt it to have only one thing, but I do like doing 2 tanks at a time, because even when I do 2 at a time, it still takes, these days around about 2 hours, because I do have some nanos and stuff as well, which are a bit more fiddly. But yeah, if you just had like 5 to 10 tanks, you can easily just hook up the siphon one to a garden hose and then just get water going through it and then pull it off the tap, and then that will create a siphon as well, as long as the sink is downhill from your fish tank.
Here's a good question. DWS Aqua. Hey, Blake, how do you manage your work/home life and tube life?
Yeah, not easily, to be honest.
Was real.
Yeah, I get behind on one and then rush to cat. No, so what I've found really helpful is I do daily videos, but in reality, I don't do videos every single day. So I'll get on a good roll. Like yesterday, I did 5 videos, which it was a pretty late night editing and all that. But that kind of gets me afternoons that I can do family things and, have like a movie night or whatever, keep that side of things happy. And then work life is a lot easier now that I'm working from home. But to be honest, I like to have it so my lights in here come on at 1 and go off at 9. So that sort of keeps me in a decent system. I don't really come out here before then. Usually, yeah, I try to just bowl a lot of my work done in the morning and early lunchtime. And then, yeah, I don't really come out here before the kids are in bed, to be honest.
So you did 5 videos yesterday. How do you come up with 5 video topics and then go, like, I suppose it's one thing to come up with 5 video topics, but then to have all the information and all the props or the products or the fish that you talk about in front of you. How do you manage that?
Yeah, that's a good question, because I remember early days when I was talking on the channel and I was saying I'm just going to keep doing daily videos, and people were saying, you'll get burnt out or you'll run out of ideas and then you won't do a video for a long time and all that. But I'm doing all this stuff anyway. I don't know. I'm a little bit obsessive. I just generally am interested in a lot of things, and I just always have like 5 or 10 things that I want to do out here. So it's just a matter of sort of getting a bit of the runway and just doing it. So these days I do have a fair system going where most weeks you'll find that I'll do a fish store tour, a fish species spotlight, a plant species spotlight, maybe an unboxing, something like that. So I do have similar things. Like I've got, the next bunch of species of fish that I'm going to talk about lined up. But along that topic, you don't want to get too comfortable either, I find, because then it's just the same video over and over again. So I don't know. I find it good because I just get on a bit of a roll. I don't know how to explain it. I don't struggle for ideas. Maybe it's just I'm weird. I don't know. I just love it. I love every minute of it.
I mean, I was saying to Blake before the stream that I've been trying to do. I've had a couple of weeks off, so I've been trying to have a bit of a backlog to try and catch up a bit, so that I'm putting less pressure on myself. Because I'd have not very many, but I have some weeks where I put out a video Tuesday mornings because my channel grew through an American base and get more and more Aussies getting involved now. So it sort of worked for both audiences. And I'd have a couple of weeks where I'd hit Sunday and go, I haven't got anything. And I want to maintain that consistency. And then I'd put something together. And sometimes it's funny. Sometimes you put something together and go, this is a sure thing. People are going to love this. And I've done such a good job with it. I'm really proud of it. Upload, and no one watches. Mm-hmm. And then you'll do some where you're like, oh, well, actually, I've been thinking about this. I'll just quickly do a video on that. And then bang, that goes really well. And you go, there's no rhyme or reason, is there?
Yeah, we've talked about these things a little bit offline, and it's something I'm glad you brought up here because I would like to tease it out a bit more here. So the first thing is, I never get frustrated that I have nothing. For me, I'm always frustrated. I'm like, I want to do these 6 videos. What order will I do them in? And that, I'm just kind of like, I wish I could just have a duplicate of myself, so that we can all do these videos all at once, and I need to just get them out there into the world. And I think because, I just remember when I was in that research phase, and I was like, in a fish store, I was like, a Bozeman eye rainbow fish. What's the go with them? And I'd look up a video, and sometimes there's videos and sometimes there's not. So for me, I'm just always like, if there's somebody at a store right now, they might need to know all about sparkling gouramis. So I can't do it next week because they might be at the store today and then there'll be no video. I don't know. But but the other side of that is doing daily videos. The conversation we were having around videos that you expect to do well and videos that you expect to bomb. I guess you've said sometimes this video didn't do as well. But, geez, your video on Wednesday did well or something. And I'd be like, did it? I don't know. Because as soon as I upload it, I just don't even think about that. And I guess that's good and bad because you have less invested around the statistics of that particular video. You still have a lot of time and energy invested for sure. And occasionally I do go through and be like, oh, geez, that's pretty good. Or people liked that. People didn't like that. And I do interact with all of the comments that I receive on all the videos. So it used to be that I would reply with the comment on every comment, but it's a lot now. So sometimes you do get the thumbs up or the heart or whatever, but that's just because I'd be on my phone
all the time now. He's too big for me now.
Yeah, I've always got time for you. I've always got time for you and everybody who's here in the chat. It's those other people.
Oh, and the people watching the replay.
Yeah, them too. Yeah.
No, that's one thing. I think I get a bit too carried away with it sometimes, and I do look at the numbers because you go, all right, is that a good idea? Or should I do more of that sort of stuff? What I love about your channel is that you're very informative. So it is almost like a bit of a Bible for fish keeping, and people that are in the seats of everyone in the chat and myself, you can go on and check out. I want to know this about plants. I want to know this about this species. I want to know this about how I should go about what I want to do next. Whereas mine's a bit more like of a journey. So you've got the direction and you're good at what you do. I think I look at mine and go, oh, I'm going to try different things and find a niche that works for an audience and for me. So I'll reach out sometimes and go, I don't think this will work. And it doesn't. So then you go, cool. At least my instincts were correct, but the video wasn't. But then what I've been learning as well over time, and I'm sure, I mean, you've been around for 7 months. Is that right?
Yeah, about 7 months. Yeah,
It's
I think it was
crazy.
the week before Christmas, and you were doing 24-hour streams and whatnot.
I did a 24-hour stream. That what I never anticipated as well with some of these things, you put a video out and it doesn't do as well as you expect. Then 6 months later, a year later, 2 years later, you look at it and go, whoa, what happened there? Like, there's something in there that was enough just to keep it bubbling away and get enough traction that it just kept getting posted by YouTube. It went up the ranks. And those, what I call a slow burn, they're like the most rewarding videos that I do, because it feels like it's relevant for a longer period of time. Daniel, hello.
Yeah.
New member. Thank you, Dan. I know Dan's been a member. Obviously, it's lapsed. I just want to quickly do a quick shout out. Dan had this made for me. I'm just going to do the full. Had this made for me from a friend. How cool is that? It's a coaster set for Aqua, mate. It's pretty insane. So, Dan, I can't get over that. I got a Scottish hat. I got an Aquamate keyring. So while you're here, I have to say thank you, and I will put a proper thank you into a video at some stage very shortly. But my microphone broke.
Ooh.
And speaking of that is one thing I wanted to speak to you about. Equipment. How do you do all this? You make 5 videos in one day. What are some tips that you can give us as well? But what do you kind of find essential and say, I can do it because I have this equipment and this procedure to put a video together?
Just before we do, I just noticed that there's a bit of chat around the water change system. Craig, the hot water service does supposedly have, leached copper. I've got a really, really old hot water service, which is supposed to be absolutely deadly for all fish, and I've never found it to be a problem. So I think all fish actually need a little bit of copper, but it's obviously highly deadly in larger doses. So honestly, I've been water changing with copper water for a year. How long have I been in this house? More than a year. Well, 3 years total. And I've never found it to be a problem, because everybody does water changes from their kitchen tap anyway, don't they? And that water's coming from the same place. Surely nobody changes water from an outdoor tap, heats it up, tips the bucket in, fills up a bucket, heats it up, tips the bucket in.
I do all my water changes predominantly from an outdoor tap, but I don't heat it up. I don't change the temp.
Yeah, you're a rebel. You're old school.
Yeah. My fish
all The other thing I wanted to talk about was slow burners. You said that they sort of remain relevant, but I actually believe they're critical, because those slow burners, they're new people coming in to watch your content. So,
yes.
I mean, I'm by no means an expert. There's millions upon millions of people with more than 2,000 subscribers. But what I'm trying to do is get 3 types of content into the YouTube sphere, and that is searchable content, engagement content, and shareable content. So the searchable stuff is, like the guides and stuff where somebody's standing in a shop and they want to know about XYZ. Engagement is obviously the live streams and stuff where like the people who have stuck around, you sort of get that reward. You get to know me, and we get to sort of create more of a community. And then the shareable stuff is things like store tours and product reviews and stuff, where actually those stores and those businesses are sharing my content on their social media as well. So yeah, I mean, for most of them, I'm going to the store anyway, or I'm using the product anyway. but it's just always a good idea to try and find new audience anywhere that you can. So that's what I try and do there. But your question regarding equipment, I would say that you don't need necessarily a lot. I think it's a lot more important to have great audio than great video, because if people can't hear what you're saying, especially if you're trying to be educational, then they're not going to hang around long enough to try and decipher what you're trying to tell them. So before you go out and get a big mirrorless camera or an SLR, get yourself a good microphone. I've got like way too many Rode microphones. There's one right there, but obviously that's impractical for your phone or whatever. But it doesn't have to be too crazy expensive. I think Shep has a cheaper brand, maybe Boya or somewhere. But for me, like I would say, if you needed to, you could make like hundreds of videos and find thousands of people who would watch them with just whatever smartphone you roll with, a ring light perhaps, and a lavalier microphone. That's all you need. I mean, obviously you can add things on top of that, and I certainly love to do that, but that you don't need anything else, you know?
Yeah, I think that's completely true. I have done everything I've done with a phone. I was talking to Blake in the last couple of weeks about a new camera setup, because he's going the direction that I would like to go as far as the way that you present and the picture quality has improved the last couple of weeks. And it's something that even if an audience doesn't like it, it's probably an artistic thing, I think, just to make it look the way that you want it to look.
Yeah. I mean, there's no question that, like, I can't think of an example now, but like a Sony A6500 is going to look a lot better than an iPhone 5. That's just obvious. And you've got a lot more options with lenses and things like that. But for YouTube, you got to think as well, even if you upload in 4K, especially a lot of us Australians who have terrible internet, like I think Prawny watches all of his YouTube videos in 480p. So when I upload in, I usually don't upload in 4K anyway, but if I upload it in 4K, he's not even watching it, he's watching it in 480p. So if the audio is terrible and then the video is, downsized so much, it's just a generally terrible user experience. So
No, absolutely. There's a lot of people that do their water changes from outdoor taps.
yeah, I'm seeing that. I mean, if I did hold a huge belief that copper and hot water services were a big no-go, probably what I would do is get an IBC, fill it up from an outdoor tap, and put it in a heated room or something somehow. But yeah, I've never found it to be a problem. I've always done water changes direct from the hot water service.
Aqua, how you doing? I missed you, I think, when you came in.
Big fan of Aqua. Make more videos,
Yes, definitely. Now, back on topic a little bit. So,
never.
So you bought some neons and ended up with 40 tanks. What fish do you keep now? For everyone, I mean, I know probably everyone here knows your channel, but what are the fish that you really enjoy keeping the most? And also, what got you into plants? Did you have a history of keeping house plants or gardening or anything like that before you started doing aquatic plants?
That one's probably easier. No, I'm terrible at growing plants. I'm so bad. I kill everything. And do you know what the problem is? I overwater everything, so the roots all rot out.
So you found plants that didn't care about the water.
That's right. No, I think just being a fan of aquarium co-op, sort of plants become an interest as well, and you find out about all the benefits and all that, and the variety. But actually, I guess the real interest came because I was doing all those calculations and being like, no, I can't squeeze one extra neon tetra into this tank. What you can do if you're a full-blown aquarium addict is still go to the pet store and pick up some hygrophila, or you can go and pick up some Monte Carlo or some XYZ. You can always add more plants. So there's a good way to get my retail therapy out there without creating any more issues than I already had at home. So so that was a big reason why I got into like plant varieties and that, more so than just needing plants in. And also you can upgrade things like, then you get into aqua soils and stuff, and CO2 and highlighting and all that. So more excuses to burn through money pretty much. but for me, I think that's a hobby, like, I don't know if that's just a terrible outlook to have or whatever, but if I was into RC planes, I'd buy a bunch of RC planes and gear. If I was into retro cars, I'd buy a bunch of retro cars or whatever. That's just don't people just need hobbies to live life? I don't know if that is that a thing that people do. Like,
you're spot on. Is it a hobby if you only have one fish tank?
Yeah, I think. Well, I think actually, Majestic Aquarium said that that's actually a house decoration, not a hobby, something like that. So I don't know. There are people with one aquarium that is a amazing.
Like, freshwater's not a hobby, but saltwater.
I wasn't going to hang him out to dry like that, but you can.
I'm happy to talk to him anytime. He's a good character. He's great. He is great for the hobby and the industry. Yeah, but it's not necessarily the quantity, I guess, either, because there are people with one fish tank that probably spend more hours on that fish tank than I spend in this entire room, which is pretty hard to do. But I think there is probably the case out there anyway. So who's to say what's a hobby and what's not, I guess. But it's a good though.
Yeah. But what fish I'm interested in, I'm just interested in, I don't know, whatever I'm finding out about at the time. There's not many fish that I don't really like except the giant gourami. I cannot stand giant gouramis, but other than that, I really don't dislike any fish. But at the moment, what have I got? I've got a few apistos. I like the nano fish and stuff at the moment, CPDs, emerald rasboras, pygmy cories, and that sort of thing. Got a lot of small gouramis getting around the place at the moment, which is a bit alarming, but yeah, just a bit of everything. Shrimp as well.
I love your Pancakes. They have grown like 4 times the size since I put them in the tank over there.
Nice.
And the other two jumped out and haven't grown at all since then. It was a bit weird.
Plenty more where that came from. You and Shep have made me start breeding them, so I'll have a bunch of them.
Yeah, I'm in love with them. I've got a project that I'm working on this week. I'm going to have to do it this week, otherwise I'll never get time. On the tank that they're in. Josh, are you finding saltwater to be easier, care, or less time-consuming than fresh? I offend so many marine addicts when I say it on pages. Easier? No.
I'd say less interesting. You can say that on saltwater pages all you want. God.
No, what's actually really cool is if anyone follows my Instagram, the clownfish is now, what do you call it? Not housed. The anemone is hosting the clownfish, which is really, really cool. So I've still got a makeshift lid, and I lost my other clownfish, which is crap because, again, jumped out in the middle of the night. Something's obviously going on in the middle of the night. And now that he's alone or she's alone, it's sort of, I don't know, they've just come together. So that's kind of cool. But the hair algae, I have no idea what to do with the hair algae. That's why I'm waiting for Ugly Man. Ugly Man has, just quickly, Aqua as paradise fish, communal or not?
Yeah, I've got 4 paradise fishing with a bunch of endlers. I find them to be pretty good, to be honest, but it might be one of those things where you need a few of them so they can nip each other instead of harassing everything else.
2 questions for both of you. Which is your go-to aquarium store for your majority of fish gear or fish? Also, which YouTube aquarium channel is your favorite and most watched?
Before we dive into these questions, I just recently, I've always battled with algae in my saltwater tank too. And I just found this GFO, like phosphate remover. It seems to have done the job. So get on some of that. But mix it in with some, unless you're going to do a reactor, mix it in with some carbon so it doesn't solidify into one big block. But anyway, we'll have a chat about it after the stream or whatever.
Yeah, I do want to know more because I know I can cut it all away, but it's just going to grow back. But yeah. All right. So, what's your favorite aquarium store, and what's your favorite aquarium channel?
Well, that is two different questions. My favorite aquarium store is, I think we determined it on Thursday stream, is actually Nature Aquarium. But the aquarium store that I go to for majority of my gear / fish, if I'm going to Melbourne, it is Fastway Hydroponics in West Footscray. If I can't be bothered, then it's Family Pet and Aquarium in Grovedale, which is, over an hour closer and by far the closest. Or actually, I did just go yesterday to I was just talking about this. So the closest technical store that I have to me is about 15 minutes away. And it's actually it's called Wellington Water Rural Garden, something like that. And it's like an agricultural store. So you walk in and there's like, like barbecue supplies on one side, paint. There's a paint section. There's like homebrew section. There's like irrigation section. Then you've got horses and stuff and dogs and cats and birds. And then there's a random fish section up the back. But the fish section, I actually know the manager pretty well now because I'm always nerding out with him, and he's a bit of a fish nerd as well. And he orders in like CO2 gear and all this high-end sort of stuff, and then he'll message me and be like, "Oi, there's wild betters on the list this week. Do you want me to order them for you and stuff?" So it's pretty funny. Like, you would not expect it to be a good fish store. You'd expect it to have like, the staples, but I guess we've infiltrated. We've got one on the inside there, so
it's like a Doomsday Preppers hotspot or something.
Yeah, it kind of is. So that I shouldn't have even said anything because the secret will be out. But yeah, no, WRG is a good one too.
That's awesome. Hey Jesse, how you doing? Craig, not happy with something. Aqua Pet, is that a certain store?
Yeah, Craig hates Aqua Pet. It's Bodgy's old workplace.
Yes, I've never been there.
Yeah, yeah. And then the second part of the question is, that would be a lot. I was gonna say, if I see a notification for Aquarium Co-op, then I always click on it, but not necessarily these days. But my favorite YouTube channel, it's got to be Aqua, mate. When that guy uploads, it's not what you're doing. But to be honest, to be honest, I do like to support all these guys that I've got to know pretty well. So generally, if I do see a notification from an Aquamate or a Bodgy or a Sopronalot, Dr. Black or Thirsty Rabbit or any of those guys, I usually do drop whatever I'm doing because I just want to see what they're up to. So I like that. I like that ground up sort of YouTube now that I'm finding all these smaller creators and it's good fun.
Yeah, definitely. Ugly Man, I think my answer would be H2O Studios. I think they've got a lot of fish that I like, and I love the scapes, and I'm getting more interested in that side of things. But they don't have any saltwater, which at some stage may be an issue for me. And yeah, I liked Fish Fanatics, but they closed down. Special mention though, I don't know enough about the place, but the Keysborough New Life is that's something different. I definitely. Did you end up doing a tour there?
Yeah, it's going to be out next week.
Definitely keep an eye out for that one. You'll see what we're talking about because I'm going to just try and do a tour there and just make it better than Blake's. I'll use the same now though, if that's all right. Hey, Kendall, how are you doing?
G'day.
And favorite channels. I'm a bit the same as yourself. There's some of you guys in here that I enjoy watching whenever I can. I don't watch YouTube every day, but I'll try and binge watch it every now and then and sort of catch up on stuff. But for the big ones, I still enjoy Coralfish 12G and King of DIY. Probably they're the two that I like following the journey. I don't mind Aquarium Co-op, but I feel like it always bounces all over the shop a little bit. So that's probably something that I sort of try and reflect a little maybe with my videos is to try and keep moving on the same sort of, I don't know, process. It's sort of what's happening with me right now rather than let's talk about that and then let's talk about that. And another one I like watching as well is Sam Parker. And he put a members post out today. I don't know if he's responded to anyone, but he did say, what's some of the things you'd like to see while we're on lockdown? Because all of a sudden we all start going, well, I can't go out and do a fish store tour. I can't go out and do a collaboration with someone. Have either of you been to the Aquarium Factory in Baronia? And what do you think? Yes, I have, Max, and I would like to try and do a probably 2 videos with those guys. But every time I go in there and think I'll ask them about it, they're super busy. And then every time I go in there and just buy something and don't think about it, I buy. There's no one in there. So they have a proper monster fish tank too, which I think a lot of people would like.
Yeah.
This is the part where I normally ask, and I'm going to, no surprise. What's coming up? You said you did 5 videos yesterday. What can we look forward to? We know we've got the Keys video. Anything particularly excited about? Anything that's a little bit different to what you've had in the past in the fish room or whatnot?
Excited. I'm just enjoying everything that I'm doing at the moment. Like I feel like in the lead up to the 2K, I've done a lot of live streaming for the last few weeks. So mainly I just want to get some more videos out there that aren't streams, although we are streaming tomorrow, but not necessarily. Got a few good products going on. I got a video on a dirter tank, how to do it properly, and same of the good stuff, and that's all we can do really. Got a very, very juicy collab coming up, which is I'm very excited about it too. So that'll be a good one. Hopefully it catches a few people by surprise.
Ooh, I'm curious now.
Yeah. I nearly forgot about it because it was supposed to be a little while ago, but we're just perfecting it. So it'll be good.
Oh, that's awesome. I like red plants. Congratulations. Was it I like red plants one on Monday?
Yep. Got a message that the prize arrived. So, yep.
So what happened there? You ended up being able to utilize a voucher from a local fish store. Is that right?
Oh, not that giveaway. Sorry, I do too many giveaways apparently. I like red plants. I like red plants won the Thursday giveaway of some food. The $100 one was Pete, Aquarium Plant Man, and
yes,
he said that he'd like it for his local. And I said, "What is it?" I messaged them on Facebook. I said, "Do you do gift certificates?" They did, and so I just I bank transferred them the money, and he went in store to pick it up. So yeah.
Oh.
Yes, I love Rio's channel. It's so good. Get to see it. I'm a big Japan fan as well. So jumping between Singapore and Japan, that's a channel that I'm all about. A young fella, who's doing his best as well. A lot to like about Rio.
Favorite plants are Anubias, Nana.
Yeah, loves it.
Rio Watanabe, I had never heard of him, but he was on Coralfish recently a couple times, and I was like, I need to check this out. He's got like 30,000 subscribers or something, but he seems like just like someone that you just smile when they're talking. Like they seem like a really nice guy. Someone is saying that you can tell us the secret coming from someone that
you're not supposed to read that.
Is nowhere else. I can block him.
No, you're reading the StreamYard. That's retracted. Now everyone knows.
No, I didn't say who it was.
Everyone else can see message retracted.
That's awesome, though. I didn't
I'm
know.
not inviting you around for Christmas. You'll give away all the Christmas presents.
Just call me Santa Claus. Rookie Reaper, how are you doing? Thank you very much for dropping in. What are we saying here? Max, I know school has gotten the better of me at the moment, but my fish tanks and frogs are doing great. That's awesome. Also, he's finally making a new video. That coming out this weekend. Max S has only got one video out, and it's of very high quality. Not to put the pressure on you, but expecting the same thing. No, looking forward to you doing some more content, Max. All right. So, is there anything you would like to share with us? Alice is still like, yeah, I don't know what they're talking about.
Yeah.
Is there anything you'd like to share with us while we've got you?
Not overly. Yeah, just super stoked to hit the 2K, I guess. I haven't really been thinking about it a lot other than that lately, and just making sure that the giveaway went seamless and all that. So I do still have these designs, I guess. If you want a fishy jumper, there's like 65 different designs. No, they haven't really sold, though, so I guess nobody likes them. But
What one's that?
This is a Jag. That's a new one.
That's cool.
Yeah, something a bit different.
Anyone got any questions before we wrap it up? We'll probably go for another 10, 15 minutes. And this is probably the part where we sort of just chill out a little bit more because I've asked you all the questions. I really, for all of you out there, Blake and Kendall, who's here as well, two people that I bounce off a lot when I'm like, oh, I'm not sure if I should try this, or what do you think I've done wrong here, or what should I do? And it's sort of, it's good to have, you as sort of a comrade when things are, sometimes they can be down and depressing or frustrating. Sometimes it can be like you want to just share some of the wins with someone so that it doesn't feel like it's all in your head. So that's something I sort of treasure with that relationship that we've been able to build over, the last 5 or 6 months. No, we're not getting married. We're not going that far, but it has been fun.
Never say never. Kendall, they got rid of that on computer as well. So the 3 dots are no more. Big disappointment for YouTube. Yeah. But that is one thing that I want to say, that I am super thankful for the community, because it is a long time and a lonely world out there when you're the only fish nerd in the world and all your friends don't really care, and your family are just telling you're wasting your money and all that, and it's good to have people to relate and to get excited when fish breed and to get excited when you get a new species or whatever. So that is something that has really invigorated my hobby as well. So I recommend, obviously most of the people that are here anyway are part of the community, but if you've got someone out there that maybe isn't part of the community and is interested in fish or whatever, or even just interested in socializing without necessarily doing so like at a pub or a nightclub or any other ways that people typically socialize, then I do think that it's a great community, and that we should recommend communities like this to more people, because without getting too down in the dumps and all that, there's a lot of mental health stuff these days, and I think that people socialize in different ways. I'm a fair introvert, so this sort of thing works really well for me. But if all of us people here were gathered at the pub, then I would probably be the quiet person in the corner who wasn't really talking all that much and just sort of let everybody else do the talking. So anyway, I don't really know where I was going with that tangent. Just thankful to have an outlet.
Yeah, you're spot on, and that's why, I think of it as a hobby and a passion project. And I think the fun with a passion project is it doesn't matter if you're trying to get views, subscribers, or you're just trying to change a tank, or you're try and breed a different fish or grow a different plant. Like, your passion is driving the thing that you want to do, and everyone's got different goals. Everyone's got different things that they want to do, and it's funny that we can all sort of get together and share in that and do that. So it's probably been the biggest surprise for me doing YouTube. And from the sounds of it, same with you. It sounds like, oh no, I'm not really a YouTuber, and then realize, holy crap, there's like a community here. And they've completely embraced you, and you've done a fantastic job. So I wanted to be one of the first to congratulate you on the 2K. I was there on the night, but I was messaging you long before that when I realized. So well deserved, man.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it. So we are just getting started. Plenty more video spam where this came from, and who knows where we'll go with it.
Now, what do we got here? The aquarium hobby is actually very good for your mental health. Absolutely. Great way to wind you down after work as well and relax through SHIT times. Takes head straight out of the dumps.
You mean through times?
Look at him. Brings his own props, brings his own things. Total Tropicals TV. Blake, I did a sample with that t-shirt company 3 weeks. Still waiting.
Yeah, that's a long time. I guess
He's
there's
up in far north Queensland, though, I think. Oh, no,
Yeah.
Gold Coast.
I've placed 3 orders with them. It does seem like that. So they print on demand. So I think the website says something like 10 business days, and then they send it express or something like that. So, yeah, that sounds like something's going on there, though. Total Tropicals. I don't know.
Yeah.
Probably because you didn't order from blakesaquatics.theprintbar.com. I'd say that's the problem there.
Hey, Aqua, I don't know how you do it, Blake. He has a hard time posting once a month.
Yeah.
You got a lot of tanks to look after as well, Jesse.
Yeah. I've always been that person though that just takes on everything. Like you know, when I was studying full time, and then I'd also work like 40 hours a week in hospitality, and then I'd also, you know, go and get volunteer work experience and stuff, and just sort of there was a time where I was starting at a work site at 7 a.m. and that was going until 2, and then I would study because I was still studying at the time, and then I'd start a job in hospitality at 4 p.m. and that would go till midnight, and then I would wake up and do the whole next thing the day after. I don't know, I've just always been that way. And yeah, even when I was working full time, then I was doing my postgraduate online, and then we decided to have kids, and yeah, I don't know, I've always just had a lot on my plate, so I don't know anything different.
That's awesome. I know that like just reading Otter Creek, I very even balance in my hobby. Being in the fish room mellows me out, and then I get anxious and stressed about not uploading.
That's good.
So Tropicals must have ordered from a different t-shirt company because they're only an hour away from there.
Oh, yeah, I'm not sure.
Well, I think we'll leave it there. You're on tomorrow night, so in 22 hours.
I think we're going to do a ranking game of some sort. Haven't decided what yet. Suggestions are open, I guess.
I keep joking, saying you should do it on YouTube.
Yeah, I think it would be funny for about 5 minutes though, and then it would get weird.
That's the whole point. Thirsty Rabbit, how are you? And Derek, as soon as I say, all right, we're going to wrap it up, people start walking in. That's always the way. But yeah, we'll be there tomorrow, Thursday, and then Saturday and Sunday and Monday. Oh yeah, a quick question while I think of it. Scott and Liz, King and Queen Cichlids, are they not doing any more live streams now? Because you sort of share that spot with them on a Monday morning for us.
Yeah, so I think they've canned live streaming in general now. So I don't really have a huge appetite to take up that in-between spot, to be honest, because it's a bit hard work getting up that early in the morning. Yeah. It has been great to sort of interact with new people, though. So I think it's sustainable fortnightly. But yeah, if somebody wants to jump in the in-between week, I guess it's open.
Yeah, it's a hard one. That's when I'm pretty much sorting Harry for school and leaving for work. So I miss a lot of those. I used to have a bit more flexibility and be able to watch them, but I miss a lot of them now. Also, that all changes in 3 months? Daylight savings. I reckon it seems to go one way and we go the other, so it really moves it around then. And I think it goes later in the day.
Okay, so I don't know. I'm a bit nervous about how the time changes will work because if I have to get up earlier, it's just not going to happen. But we'll deal with that down the track.
I think it goes later. I think it goes to like 10 o'clock instead of 8 o'clock.
I can have you as a guest during that time, but then you'll still need to wake up early. Oh, yeah. Leave it with me. I can be convinced. I just don't want to do it every single Monday. You know, like if it's a one-off, it's fine.
Yeah, that's right. Rob93 reached out and said, join me for a live stream, and he does his Thursdays, 9 o'clock in the morning. I'd love to, and I'm not working tomorrow. And I was like, I should totally message him and say, hey, I'm actually free this week, but I'm homeschooling. It'd just be talk. Oh, yep, there's Harry. He needs help again. See you guys. Oh, God. All right. Thank you, everybody, for dropping in. Thank you for joining us, Blake. It's been good fun. I haven't done a stream for a while. We'll be doing a stream on Sunday. I'm not sure if you'll be there or not, Blake, but we'll just do the Acclimate and Friends. So whoever is there, welcome to join in, have a chat. Let us know what's going on in your world and in your fish room. And it'd be good to catch up with everybody again as well.
Yeah. I'll let him know about the mollies, Dan. We'll have a chat.
Yeah, sorry, Dan, you're right. Chuck some mollies in and they will eat the hair algae. It's a good idea. Yeah, also, I've always thought they'd look out of place, mollies in salt water, but I suppose it's normal, isn't it?
Yeah.
Anyway. You're going to say something?
I've done it before with mollies. I didn't find them to be that effective, but anyway, they do look a little bit strange, though.
Why is he laughing so much?
I was actually going to joke and be like, and then you'll realize that they're a freshwater fish, and then you'll get rid of the saltwater, get back into the freshwater game.
Just move them once they do the job. That's a good point.
Terrible. All right. End of the stream.
Thank you. Aquarium Cup, welcome. See ya. Thanks, guys.